We all have that one friend, the one who can go weeks, maybe even months without texting, the one you always have to call first. Hey, you might even be that friend. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the self-sufficient friend, and we're going to explore a really powerful idea. What if their silence isn't neglect? What if it's a sign of something much, much deeper? Let's get into it.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. Are you that friend? The one who rarely, if ever, texts first? Are you perfectly happy, perfectly content if weeks go by without a little check-in text? If that sounds like you, or if you have a friend exactly like that, stick around, because we're about to completely reframe that whole dynamic for you.
And here's the problem, right? This is the fundamental misunderstanding. On one side, you have a friend who feels ignored, maybe a little unimportant, but for the other person, it might not be about a lack of care at all. We're going to dig into what's really going on beneath the surface here.
All right, so let's kick things off by tackling the biggest myth head-on. In our first section, the misunderstood friend. It's so easy to label this person as a bad friend, but is that really fair? Is that what's actually happening? Let's unpack that big assumption.
This is where we need to totally flip the script. What if we've been looking at this all wrong? Seriously, what if their silence has absolutely nothing to do with how much they care about you and everything to do with a profound, deep sense of their own internal security?
So, okay, if it's not a lack of care, then what in the world is it about? Well, this gets us to the absolute heart of the matter. It all comes down to where someone gets their sense of worth. And honestly, understanding this one difference is the key to unlocking the whole thing.
And this breaks it down perfectly. Think of it like two different operating systems. Over on the left, you've got people who need that external reassurance. That little ping from a text, that digital reassurance just to feel validated and connected. But on the right, that's internal peace. Their self-worth is generated from the inside. They don't need the constant back and forth because for them, the connection is already solid. It's just there.
So if they aren't getting their energy from a constant stream of messages, where are they getting it? That leads us straight into our next big idea, understanding the immense power that solitude holds for this type of person. It's all about how they recharge that emotional battery.
And wow, this quote just nails it. Silence is not loneliness, but the space where clarity lives. You see, for the self-sufficient friend, quiet isn't some empty void that needs to be filled with noise. No, it's a workshop. It's a space for real reflection and focus, far away from all the social chatter.
And there's actually a name for this. It's called clarity and solitude. It's this whole process of finding your truth, of really understanding things by stepping away from all the noise and just looking inward. It's not about being antisocial. It's about being pro-clarity.
And that brings us to another key concept. Introspective recharge. Think about it like this. Some of us are kind of like phones that need to be plugged into a social outlet to charge up. This friend, though, they've got an internal power bank. They recharge through quiet, through solitude. It's just a different way of getting their energy back.
This whole internal battery thing really helps explain a super specific behavior. Why they don't send those little just checking in texts. And it's not because they forgot about you. It's because they are, in their own way, refusing what feels like a social performance.
And this is so important to get. When they don't send that little maintenance text, they are not rejecting you. They're rejecting the social pressure, the expectation that you have to constantly perform a friendship to prove it's real. For them, the connection already exists. It doesn't need constant proof.
And yep, there's a term for it. Refusing performance. It's consciously opting out of those social things that just feel obligated. The interactions that are only there for a quick hit of surface-level validation. They're avoiding the empty calories of social interaction.
So, to really get what they're avoiding, let's look at the alternative. It's this thing called the external validation loop. Step 1, you feel a little flicker of insecurity. Step 2, you send a checking in text. Step 3, you get a reply. And step 4, you feel a little rush of temporary validation. The self-sufficient friend just isn't wired to run on that loop.
So, okay, if they're not interested in all that constant surface-level contact, what do they value? Well, their whole philosophy on friendship can really be summed up in just 3 words: deep, not constant.
So let's pull it all together. What are the hallmarks of this friend? Well, they've got really strong internal boundaries and a huge amount of self-reliance. They'd much rather have one deep, meaningful conversation than 100 little texts. They truly believe that real friendships don't need constant maintenance to survive. And here's the bottom line, they aren't being cold, they're just secure.
And if you take just one single thing away from this explainer, please let it be this. What might look and feel like distance from the outside is actually a powerful expression of self-reliance from the inside.
Which, leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. What if we've been measuring friendship all wrong? And what if the quietest friends in our lives are actually the most secure, solid connections we have? Something to think about.